So you probably clicked on this video because you bought a Z31 thinking it was an S chassis, and maybe you want to drift it, maybe you want to just make a street car. I don't know, it doesn't really matter, but you're realizing that there's not a whole lot of aftermarket support for this chassis like there is for S chassis and specifically S13s. There's just infinite options out there available. It blows my mind. So I'm just going to kind of talk about what I've done to this as far as suspension goes. I'm mostly focusing on the front for today. I've got an Apex rear end coming, and I'm super stoked for that. If that doesn't hold up, I've got a Z32 rear end and all the goodies over there I'm going to throw in. So we got options, and there are options out there for this car. You just got to find them. It's a little bit harder to find than, honestly, more loved chassis. It's kind of sad, but, you know, it's kind of cool. You get this thing, and it's like you're part of a little stupid guy club. Nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody's heads up their ass, and oh, it's a great time. You're going to love it. This is my 86 Z31. I wanted to show off kind of what I was doing here as a test for more adjustability mostly, but also just to prevent myself from having to weld in the future. I just have full S13 front suspension on a Z31. First thing you'll notice is that this end link is fucking weird. Don't worry about that. It's supposed to be upside down, but with how low the car is, I was worried that this would scrape off, and I could have totally just shaved this off if I had more time, but this is still technically in the like proof of concept phase, I guess. I just wanted to see if I could do it really, and then I'd come back and clean a few things up that I needed to address. S13 coilovers. I just slotted one of the holes for the top hat. S13 knuckles. It's got an S13 lower control arm. These are GK Tech version 1 tension rods. You don't need V1s. I was on a budget, so that's what I had. Same thing for everything here. The knuckles came with these GK Tech roll center correction kits on them. I don't know what version they are. I think they're a V2 or V3 if they're even on that. I don't know, I'm not an S chassis guy, so I might not know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then just, you know, S13 caliper, hub, rotor, all the goods. For tie rods, maybe I should go around on the other side so you can see it a little bit better. But I've got Q45 inner tie rods and S14 outers. You don't have to do that. That's just the combo that worked for me. Like everything in this setup, that's just what I found worked. I know GK Tech sells different lengths of these that you can buy, and I know Garett is running a GK Tech combo on his that works just fine. Something to keep in mind if you're going to do this swap is you're going to have some lifting force in the wheel when you're trying to crank the steering wheel. With the caster, and I don't know if it dicks with the kingpin inclination or what, but how the geometry is set up now is when you're in a parking lot, you're just going to be really fighting that thing because you're lifting the weight of the front of the car when you turn the wheel. That's not a huge deal. For me, at least, it really doesn't bother me because it's not so much of a street car grocery getter, and I'm trying to actually make this a track car and have fun with it and partially experiment with the suspension and see what I can do with it. So that is one drawback to this. Obviously, some of the major benefits are the adjustability and aftermarket support. If you blow something up in here, odds are one of your local guys is going to have, you know, something that you can buy off of them, or an LCA or something like that at the track. So I'm done with the preload adjustment up front, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the wheels back on the front and kind of show off lock to lock what the camber, caster, it'll be kind of hard to hold the camera exactly flat, but you'll get a vague idea of what it's doing, and you can compare that to stock. I think I'm running -6 to 8 degrees of camber in the front, just for reference. I should probably get that sheet before I make this video. Alright, I went ahead and threw the wheels back on. The car is jacked up right now, so you're not going to get a proper view of how the alignment's going to look, but it'll give you a pretty close idea, I think, because it's not going to drop that much. I've got this thing pretty low. I'll throw some pictures in the video to get a better understanding of where the wheel sits in the well and the caster, how that looks. To the untrained eye, it looks pretty damn center, honestly. And I thought it was for a while, but it is towards the rear just a bit. Z31 spindles are offset. I don't know how much it is. I threw mine away like a dumbass when I did this over a year ago now. That is why you need to yank your LCA forward with the tension rods to pull the caster forward, and that'll offset the offset spindle, and that's the biggest complaint that a lot of people have for this swap, is that you got to figure out your caster, and that's just what everybody argues about online. You can do it. A lot of people say that you can't have a poly bushing on the LCA because it'll bind. I haven't run into any problems. I'm not saying it doesn't bind. Maybe if you do it, you have a different setup. Maybe it does bind. I don't know. I'm just sharing what's worked for me. I know some people have used Heim joints on the LCA, but they've run into that they fail quickly. They're not very wear resistant, especially for track use. So that's just my understanding. I'm not an expert. So I'm going to go ahead and put it lock to lock here and show you. All right, here we are. If you want to pause the video at any point, kind of take a look at this, feel free. I'm going to attempt to line it up so that it's fairly true to the car. But there's your angle. I have not cut off the bump stops on my LCA as well. I'll show that on the other side here in a sec. But that's something that apparently S chassis guys do, because Z31 LCAs don't come with bump stops, so it's not really a problem. I don't think mine did. I might still have them, actually. I might be wrong on that. But anyway, S13 LCAs do have bump stops, and I know guys shave them off to get more angle. So here is your camber. Looking at it, trying to get pretty damn true. It is positive. And then if we come over here, I'll show you what I mean. If you are completely new and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, this is the bump stop on the LCA. It's super dirty in here, so you can't even see it, but this guy. Okay, right there. You just cut that off, apparently. Here's my interior, too. If you haven't seen my car. Big fan of shapes. Shapes go hard. Got the shirt tucked in wheel. It's probably worth more than the car. With matching shift boot. We got the Blitz shift knob. Ugly ass singled in. I gotta figure that out. I think it's appalling. Dash is still broken. So I went over a bump too hard. Alrighty, and here's the other way. Same stuff, try to get it true. Here is your, let's see here. Yeah, that's fairly accurate. There's your camber. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing with the camera today. I haven't made a video in a while, so I thought maybe I'll just kind of talk and maybe I'll get enough content to make something interesting. Maybe? I don't know. I got the Apex rear end. Do my best to document the process.